Here we are on level 2, looking at the areas of a circle. So we want to find the area of this circle, and the radius is 7.7 hectometers. So let's go and do our work. Now remember, it's a 3-step process. The first step is the formula. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. And if you remember that horrible joke, pi r squared, pi r round, cake or squared. If you remember that, then you always remember the area of the circle. Okay, so it's worth knowing a few bad jokes. So pi times the radius, which is 7.7, so pi times 7.7 squared. And so at that point, it's just calculator work. And remember, you're only squaring the radius, right? You're not squaring the pi. You don't do pi times 7.7 and then square the result. Okay, and in your calculator, you can just put that in one shot. Okay, so it's pi times 7.7, press the square. And notice it's only squaring the 7.7, right? 7 squared is 49, so 7.7, 59.29. Okay, and then the pi multiplies that. All right, now 57 is close to 60, and pi is close to 3. 3 times 60 is about 180, and we're at 186. So that's, you know, estimation-wise, we're in the right ballpark. Okay, and that's our answer. And there we are. Okay, don't forget your units. Okay, the area is always in square units because the radius is squaring itself. The radius is multiplying the radius, so you end up with square units. So instead of hectometers, it's hectometers squared. Okay, so we're going to put our answer in here. So once again, you're going to want to round. So the 8 is going to round the 2 up to a 3. Okay, and then, so I always put in like 4 or 5 decimal places. And hectometers, so hectometers, and then to get the square, just click on that little button. Okay, and that's it. All right, what's the area of this circle? So you're given the diameter this time, and so the radius, you know, it's 2 kilometers is the diameter, which is a pretty big circle. And so the radius is just going to be 1. Okay, so you should be able to do this one mentally, right? So pi times 1 squared is 1 squared is 1, so pi times 1 is just, you know, 3.14159. Don't you drink that turpentine. And kilometers squared. And then click the square button. Okay. Okay, let's try this one with the diameter. And by the way, you can always just rotate these guys, right? You can move them like that and rotate them. Whoops. You have to grab one end. You have to grab some end from somewhere and rotate it. I can't quite do that. Hold on. Can't quite rotate it, but let's go and do our calculations. Okay, so we want to figure out, we have the diameter is 76 hectometers, so the radius is going to be half that, right? So it's going to be 38. So the radius is 38 hectometers. The area is pi r squared. Remember, there has to be 3 steps. Formula, replacement, so we're replacing the radius with 38. So pi times 38 squared, and then it's calculator work, right? So pi times 38 squared equals, okay, so 4,536.45979, and then there we go. Okay, there's your answer. Now we want to round, remember, 4 or 5 decimal places, and then hectometers squared. We're talking about area, so it's square units. Let's go and put our answer in. So remember, once again, you want to round. So I'm going to round it. Let's say the 9 is going to tell the 7 to round up to an 8. Okay. And hectometers, space, hectometers, click on the 2 for squared. And that's it for area of circles. Have a good day.